Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Do subscribe to our channel. Many people have heard the famous story of the Good Samaritan, but many have not read the passage in Luke chapter 10 verses 25 to 37. So let us read this passage before beginning the lesson. And it came to pass that a certain lawyer stood up and asked Jesus, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? He said to him, What is written in the law? How do you read? And he, hoping for an answer, said, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. And he said, You have answered correctly. Do this, and you will live. But he, wanting to justify himself, said to Jesus, And who is my neighbor? Then Jesus answered and said, A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and fell among thieves, who stripped him of his clothes, wound him up, and beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. And so it was that a priest was going down that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. Likewise, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, traveling on business from Jericho to Jerusalem, came upon him. And seeing him, he had compassion. And when he came near, he saw that he needed to be helped. And he took him into an inn and took care of him. And he paid attention to the host, saying, See that you take care of him. And whatever more you spend, I will reimburse you when I return. And so it was that when Jesus had finished this illustration, he said to him, Which of these three do you think was a neighbor to him who fell among thieves? And he said, He who showed mercy on him. Then Jesus said to him, Go and do likewise. What can we learn from this passage? Well, here are 5 lessons from the story of the Good Samaritan. Lesson number 1. Those who want to inherit eternal life must obey God's commandments. In this passage, we see that a lawyer wanted to know what he must do to inherit eternal life. Jesus told him to read the law, and the lawyer quoted Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. And the lawyer was right on the money, because this is one of the most important passages in all of the Old Testament. Jesus agreed with him and said, If you do these things, you will live. But the lawyer was a little bit cheeky because he didn't want to actually do what Jesus told him to do. Instead, he tried to justify himself and asked him who really was his neighbor, because he probably thought that he didn't like Samaritans. The religious people at that time didn't like Samaritans because they were half Jews and half Gentiles. They had mixed with other people, and so they weren't considered very pure. So the lawyer was trying to find some loophole, but Jesus wouldn't give it to him. In lesson number 2, Jesus taught the lawyer who really was his neighbor. So Jesus gave this illustration of a man who was robbed and beaten and left half dead. And then a priest and a Levite, they were religious leaders, they passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, he was looked down upon by the religious Jews, but he took care of the injured man. So Jesus' point is that we should love our neighbors as ourselves. And if we see someone who needs help, we should go out of our way to help them, just like the Samaritan did. Lesson number 3, we should show compassion to those who are different than us. Now, the religious leaders of that day, they would have nothing to do with the Samaritans. They hated them. But the Samaritan in this story, he didn't care that this man was a Jew, and he didn't care that he was half dead. He just cared about the fact that he needed help. So, friends, we must be careful that we don't judge people or look down on them because they are different than us. We must show compassion to everyone, just like that Samaritan did. Lesson number 4, we should take action to help those who are in need. Many times people today, they will just sit around and complain about how bad things are in the world. They feel helpless, but we must remember that we are not called to be helpless. We are called to help others. If we see someone who needs help, we shouldn't just pass by on the other side, like the priest and the Levite did. We should stop and we should help them, and sometimes this may mean that we have to go out of our way to help them. And lesson number 5, we must put our faith into action. James chapter 2 verse 14 says, "What does it profit, my brethren, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Faith is useless, just as faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead." So, friends, we must make sure that our faith is real. And the way we know that our faith is real is by the way we act. If we see someone who needs help, we must put our faith into action and go and help them. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Remember, stay awesome. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.